Hello everyone, and welcome to Innovate for Climate's Digital Media Zone here in Singapore. Today is our last day in Singapore. Before we start, do make sure to follow the conversation using the hashtag Innovate for Climate. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Emma Imperial. Welcome, Emma. She's the president and CEO of Imperial Homes Group of Companies. Emma, welcome.
Thank you.
Question. So since 2015, your company introduced solar power into mass housing projects. Can you tell us a bit more about that? How has that experience turned out? What was the thinking behind it?
In the Philippines, we have all the sun, and our electricity rate is one of the highest in the world. And every time I travel to Europe, I could see some solar panels on the roof of even countries that are experiencing winter climates. And here we are in the Philippines, and we have, I was thinking always of what it can do to the mass housing communities. And I went to China, I went to Denmark. I was trying to put up a factory for solar. And then at the end of the day, I started putting small solar just to test it, like hundreds of them on my small houses. And with acid battery at that time, it was like 7 years ago. And when there was a storm, a typhoon, only my small houses were lighted. So I pursued, even if the solar panels at the time was very costly, everybody was trying to say, Emma, you're doing the wrong thing. I still continued until finally a Belgian group, it's a global solar developer from Belgium, came up to me and said, why don't we do things in a bigger way? And I provided them the R&D for the mass housing, and they provided the R&D for the solar. So then we created the first community, which is now 1,000 of them, and which is all came from something that I feel people need, and it's now coming out really, really good, because our data shows. So we monitor the data on the savings of the solar solutions, and we have like 31% savings from our low-income buyers, and so that's really how it started. And it became very good for the business. And many developers were saying it's not going to work. But in our company, the sales went up every year by 65%. So it was good for the company, but it was better for the low-income group. And I was telling them that the myth that solar solution at that time, which is 2015, is only for the rich. It's no longer a myth. It's not the myth that it's only for the rich. It's no longer there. So it's now being given to the low income, the middle income. So in the Philippines, it's quite popular.
Wow, exciting, transformative, in fact.
Yeah.
You were here at Innovate for Climate to be on a panel on sustainable cooling.
Yes.
Can you talk us through a little bit the connection between sustainable cooling and building design?
We continue to innovate in the company. So our company has been transformed from the usual real estate developer to now housing technology developer. The first thing that we provided was the solar solutions, and now we brought in a Danish ultra high performance concrete from Denmark, and we put it up in the Philippines. We set up a factory. What it is that the panels uses 85% less cement.
Wow.
And it's very renewable. It lasts 100 years. So the technology is really for high end in Denmark. What I did is I made an R&D to make it for the mass housing again. So the technology for the building materials, aside from the fact that it uses less CO2, each home with the solar and the building technology will be able to reduce 45 tons of CO2 per house. So you can see the impact of that kind of innovation for the mass housing. In our country, there's like about 6.7 million housing backlog. And I think in the world, it's the World Bank data, it's about 1 billion. So if you have this kind of technology to be built with this 1 billion homes, you can see the impact of that on our climate. Because it's 45 tons for each 36 square meter home. So that's what we're talking about, the sustainability of that building material could have also prevent the heat from coming inside the house. Our low-cost homes are, we have been given the EDGE certification, which is the Excellence in Design for Energy Efficiency. So we're able to lower the solar, the electricity needed from fossil fuel. And then we also save on water.
Excellent.
So, and also for the materials. So that's the World Bank certification. So our homes, even if they're for the low income, they're world class because they get this kind of certification.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the innovations that you might be most excited about, that you may be thinking, okay, this is where the future of this kind of transformation is going to be?
I think the many developers in the world are problems right now is really how to build in a sustainable way, and also how to build fast, because the world is growing, so you need more houses for the low income, middle income. And I think I stumbled on a technology that really has it all, because this convey technology is built like a Lego. I mean, if I have a video to show, you would be amazed. The technology is very light, so that's why it's sustainable also, because you don't need a lot of transportation. It's like 1/3 the weight of a precast panel, so it's very sustainable in a transportation cost.
Right.
And then it lasts 100 years. That's why the reason why you save 85% cement is because you don't have to rebuild it. Well, the other technology right now is that it lasts 30 years, like the what they call that, cement blocks, the plus walls. They only last 30 years. So if you have 100 years building materials, then you avoid rebuilding it. So scalability of mass housing is going to be faster with this kind of technology. Because right now, if you were to put solar for mass housing community that involves like thousands of them, like my development's 1,000 each project. So if you don't have the scalability of building them, then it's going to be a problem. And so it matches. So if you have solar solutions and you set it up in a fast way, and then you also have the building technology like this convey, then it's a Danish one. So
the frontier is really scale.
Yeah.
That's going to be the
and
one that...
it's not just that. The building material it's really could be used for anything, for luxury resort, everything. So the future is there, and it's available. So I don't see why people will not use it. That's why we encourage a lot of all our developers to be using them.
One last quick question. One sentence to our young audience, why they should care about these issues or climate change more generally.
I think it's for your future. Also, when I love the sea, when you go to the beach, you want the beach to be clean. So everything should start from all our construction, development, and all that. So we need to protect the environment. And the other thing is that in my story, for the young people who would like to be an entrepreneur in the future, stick with your idea. A lot of people were discouraging me from doing solar at the time when it was very, very expensive. Even now, the building technology, they were discouraging me. But look where I am now. So stick with what your dream is, and for sustainability, I think that's a good one.
Thank you. That's a very inspiring thought to end on. Please do follow the conversation using our hashtag #InnovateForClimate. Thank you.